All right. What's up, guys? So, it's interesting. I've been doing, my own research about women when they don't have kids, right? Or men. Like when humans don't want to have kids for whatever reason, right? And it's crazy. Because if it was a bad thing, like a lot of teachings out there, you know, especially in a woman, if it was so bad, why is it that we just skyrocketing, you know, for the last decade or two with all this sickness and mental illnesses, right? I think I said it before, I think we face a challenge with women and men and young women being bored and depressed and doing, you know, a lot of degrading things is because they're deciding not to have children, right? And let me tell you something about women who have no children. See, if you want to know some evil, you know, you want to know something very evil, is meet a woman with no kids, right? Right. I don't know if you have talked to one. I met plenty of them, right? And to this day, it's still relevant like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Any woman who decides not to have babies, she's not only setting herself to failure, but she's becoming evil. There's no such thing that you're going to meet a woman at 40, 50 years old, and if she didn't have kids, she's going to be kind, generous, and a lovely person. She's not. She's not going to be. Believe me, guys, right? This is very dangerous, right? Very dangerous. And why am I saying this, right? So it's crazy that every time I'm meeting coworkers and they have sisters, right? Like I met this guy right here, and he has like three sisters, two sisters. Therefore, he has another brother, and they're older than him, over 18 years old, and I think both of them, they don't want to have children, right? And it's so crazy how it's normal to them, right? It's just like their parents. Like these days, like men are so submissive, like, and I get it, right? The laws don't allow men to express themselves a little bit of rough on your kids, on your family, right? Because they'll call the police on you, the law enforcement, and they'll give you domestic violence just for anything, right? And the country, society is going to pay a price, right? It's going to pay a price because this is why I've been reading on comments like white people are becoming more rude, right? More vicious, more bad, more evil, right? And in my personal opinion and research, I think that the main thing is because they don't have no kids, right? And this includes men, right? But it doesn't affect men so much because a man in history, sometimes he will go to war, right? And a lot of people will not come back, right? As a man, back in the day, hundreds of years ago, I mean, yeah, thousands, hundreds. If I will, you know, if I had to go to war, right? Sometimes I was young. Sometimes we were young and we didn't have a girlfriend or a wife. And sometimes we just like, praying to the gods or whatever. Like if I come back, I'm gonna get married, right, and have kids. But sometimes you didn't made it. You didn't made it back, right? That's why a lot of people who will come back from a war will have more than one wife, right? Because there were just few men, and I think that's the problem these days. That first, lack of war. People pray to no war, but then people go bored, right? People get bored. What's up, Carla? Hi. And so human beings get bored real easy, right? It's not a bad thing in itself. Actually, it's a good thing because it's kind of like your soul telling you like, okay, are we gonna get enroll in some adventure, right? Are we gonna get, are we gonna tap into our own call in life, right? And I believe, right, and there's facts include there that any woman, right, who doesn't want to have kids, there's no way she's living a natural way. There's no. I believe women can get educated. I believe women should be in, like these days, should be placed in Congress, some roles, right? Teachers. I do believe that, right? I'm not an extremist red pill guy, but I do believe that if they don't put a priority on having kids, then it will go wrong. It will go bad, right? It will go bad. I don't think a teacher who doesn't have kids will be as effective as a woman, right? Who's a teacher and has kids, right? And I think it's just like non-negotiable. You can't debate that. You as a woman, right, and you as a guy who want to put money first than having a family, but it defeats the purpose, right? Okay, if I don't have a house, if I don't have money, then I can't have kids because I want to offer something. Yeah, yeah, it looks good on paper, but what are you gonna do when inflation is just like skyrocketing to the roofs? What are you gonna do when you just like nothing is stable no more, right? So it's gonna be put to the side, and you're never gonna make that decision to have a family, have kids, right? And let me tell you something, right? Kids sometimes give you ideas. They give you a sense of purpose because literally you're manifesting, right? You're literally manifesting. You know, this is when you realize that you are a creator, right? As a man, you create things, okay? And as a woman, she's part of the creation, right? She's part of the process to bring, you know, something alive into physical reality, right? And when you skip that, I think you're skipping more than 50% of your mental health, wellness, right? I see a lot of men who decided not to have kids because they're making money, and there's just like an aura about them that they know that something is calling them, that he should have a family, right? And sometimes it's an excuse if you don't have a certain amount of money, right? Because there's never going to be a perfect time for anything, right? It's just like when you're going to exercise. Oh, I'm going to exercise when I no la 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 la. You start exercise right now, right? Right. You have a body. You start doing your push-ups, your burpees, whatever, right? Start running, right? The sidewalk. So I think that's the same thing. You can apply that with family, right? You meet somebody, and I think that's why dating has been unsuccessful, and it has become a joke, right? It just becomes something fake because now it's called dating, right? You talk about nonsense. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? It's just nonsense, right? And this is where you go nowhere with that shit. I believe that you should meet a woman, and the first question should be, "Do you have kids?" If she says no, do you want to have kids in the future? I think that's the best opener for a relationship to be established, right? In good foundation. Anything else will fade away. It's fake, right? I'm not kidding. I met so many women, right? Men too, who don't want to have kids, and it's just like they're just missing something, man. Like I can't. It might be me, but I can't just like I can't trust them to a certain extent. I can't. I can't. I don't care how successful they are in their own views, right? How can you be successful if you don't have kids? I don't fucking know. You call being successful when having no kids? No, that's not success. That's not success. That's achievement. You have achieved a goal, right? Real success real accomplishments, right? It's having a family, children. Children come and they don't take from you, they add, right? They add to your life, right? They come with their different personalities, with their own brain, their own physical body, right? You're responsible to nurture it, right? But also you have to be responsible that you have to allow that children to evolve on his own pace, right? It's something very deep, right? That sometimes cannot be explained. But meeting coworkers, reading books, being incarcerated when people didn't have family, didn't have kids. There's always something, something missing in the conversation. Something missing. You can see it on their face, on their body, right? Especially on women. Oh, especially on women. They're bitter. They're awful people. Awful, right? Very awful people, right? I think one of my baby mamas. I think we went to an appointment, and every time we would deal with a nurse, right, who has no kids, yeah, because she will ask, right. My girlfriend will ask, "Do you have kids?" I don't have kids. I'm like, you can't see the way they answer. It's like, no, I don't have kids. Like they know subconsciously, they know that they're wrong, right, to make that decision that I don't want to have kids. They think it's kind of like offensive, right? And if they taking it like it's offensive to answer just like yes or no, so it's telling you the answer, right? Because they know it's embedded in them. A woman who doesn't want to have kids, it's not even a red flag, guys. It's not even, oh, okay, she doesn't want to have kids. Well, I don't want to have kids right now. You need to walk away. Yeah, she's trouble. You need to walk away. You need to walk away. And the same thing with a woman who wants kids, and the guy say, "Well, I don't want kids right now." Uh, I don't advocate for promiscuous behavior, but yeah, that's a big no-no. Because I had a few friends, like, man, my girlfriend wants to have kids, and I don't want to have kids right now. And I would tell them, like, when do you want to have kids? Like, I don't know, 3, 4 years from now, 5. All right, but good luck, bro. If she waits for you, good luck. Right, good luck. Yeah, I think it's very important to understand that there's no so-called dating, right? Yeah. And this game is fucking boring every fucking time, right? Every time in any social platform, right? Dating, dating, dating. And regardless how many programs they want to do, how many, you know, studies and all this, right? They want to skip this family having kids, right? You're too young. You're immature. That's not true. You know, that's not true. Your body's not immature, right? Your body's not. Your mind might be, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point about having a family. You don't have everything figured out. Even in life, even in life, you don't, right? But yeah, it's just bizarre. I met a few guys that I don't want to have children, but my girlfriend wants to have children. It's just like, man, it's weird as fuck. Actually, I lose respect from men like that. Actually, I can. It's not gonna be the respectful, but I can't respect the man who says that I don't want to have kids right now with my girlfriend, but she wants kids. I almost want to fucking say it. I mean, she doesn't want. If you don't want to have kids, I can give them. I can give her kids. I don't say that, but I think this is why it just creates a ripple effect of problems, right? Because then you meet this woman who wanted to have kids 5 years ago, but then now something happens, and it just this is it just it's a mess, man. It's a mess, right? And I think the only way that we can bring this back to normal is to understand that having children is not a sin, right? You can see I'm subscribing a lot of things right here, like Reddit and social platforms, and you can see women when you make a comment of like having kids, having a family, they get offended, right? Offended. And I think guys should stop asking themselves what's wrong with me about dating. What is wrong with them? I don't want to date. Yeah, that's why you're unsuccessful, because you're looking at it with the wrong words, right? That's the wrong approach. You shouldn't be dating, right? It should be mating. That's the whole point about a relationship, is that we're gonna have children, right? That's all, right? We're gonna have children. That's all. So I visited last week, the mother of my kids, and the second one, and she lives in some nice apartments, right? And I was observing, like, there was kind of like three, four couples, right, on the weekend that I was there, and none of the couples were like had kids, right? And they're just like, even her, she said, like, man, they're awkward. They just like, we're neighbors, and they don't even say good morning or nothing. And I told them, yeah, because they're bitter. Yeah, they don't want to have kids. They see you with kids, and they're screaming, running around, and it bothers them, because they know that's not even a option, right? You don't come here on earth to be on your own. You come here, right, with seed as a man, okay? And as a woman, you come here with eggs, right? You need to have kids. I don't think people are emphasizing this, stretching this enough, right, to women. They're just focusing on other things, right? Passing drugs for fucking mental illnesses and that, knowing that that's not what it's going to solve the problem. But I think it's just an agenda. They don't want to solve the problem, right? They don't. They don't. They tried to put me on medication because I did 9 years in federal prison, right? And there was nothing wrong with me. Like, no, I'm cool, Or you're gonna have a free check. Fuck your check, right? I don't need a fucking check. So this mental illness has become a trend, right? A trend. But then if these people start having kids, they're gonna have them fucked up, right? Because of this medication they've been taking. Their sperm is weak. They don't know how to eat. It's just so crazy. Then women, what? After 30, 40, they want to have kids, right? And if you tell them you can't have kids now you think that you're violating their rights. Hmm? And it's a mess, right? It's a mess. But it's a mess that they have done on their own, because it's fixable. If you pay attention, it's fixable. But people don't want to speak their mind no more, right? Men are want to be very gentle, and like, oh, I respect you. If you don't want to have kids, babe, right? If you don't want to have kids, I'll look for somebody who wants to have kids, right? Because it's not only good for the planet, for society, but it's good for your own mental health. Women need kids, okay? Women need kids. And I don't like to say that. Like, I remember this guy told me, like, what do you think about moms who are divorced, right? Like, man, I mean, don't deal with them. They're already damaged goods, right? But if you have to choose from a woman who have no kids and she's already 40, right? Or 35, 35 and over, she has no kids. Well, I mean, if you have to choose from two fucked up things, then the mother who's divorced and has kids is going to be, less damage than the woman who's 35 and over and with no kids. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It is, right? It is. And I think the government knows this 100%, but you know, it's not in their best interest to fix society. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They want to influence with their OnlyFans, and what OnlyFans is doing. It's nothing young girls, right? Making money and having no kids. But they think that's not a problem, right? They think that's not a problem. Why? Because it's kind of like a Jewish influence. It's a Jewish agenda. Yep, it's a Jewish agenda. I said it before, they own most of the pornography industry. They do. This guy died like a month ago. The founder, the owner of OnlyFans, He died. Is that a coincidence? Huh? That's good. Right. That's good. So it's very easy, right? And you see a lot of people, right? Very extravagant people are trying to fucking run for president or to fucking to get in Congress, right? There's a lot of dudes, I forgot their names. They want to run for president because now they're seeing the BS in this country. And it's so easy, right? It's so easy. You start with a woman. You always start with the woman, right? How you gonna start with a woman? First of all, you need to cut out all this fucking OnlyFans, right? You need to cut it out, OnlyFans. How easy it is to pass a law that any woman, right, who subscribe to fucking show her fucking butthole for fucking pennies and dollars, right? How easy it is to pass a law that they shouldn't be doing that unless you have a kid. Then that's an excuse, a good excuse to provide for your kid, right? But most of these OnlyFans don't have kids. I'm good. I can be a little bit sophisticated and open minded, right? Okay, let this bitch go to OnlyFans. But any OnlyFans woman, girl, she needs to have a kid, at least one child, so they can prove that they're doing it for financial reasons to support their family. And any fucking bitch who has no kids should not be allowed there, right? And if she violates that, she can be taken to fucking county for a few days so she can learn her lesson, right? They passed other bullshit laws, right? And this is an easy one. You don't have to get rid of OnlyFans. You don't have to get rid of all the women there. But one of the requirements is if you have children or family, you're allowed to make money here, right? Okay. But if you have no children, you have no business here. That would be a good excuse. Okay, boom. So now bitches are gonna start having babies for the wrong reasons, but they're gonna start having babies, and probably they'll change their mind and will not do that. I guarantee that a lot of 50% or more of women who will be subscribed to OnlyFans after having the children, they will decide not to do that because babies change women, right? Children change families, bro. Children change adults. They do, right? You think about something, but unless you have a baby, right? You see that little baby, and your mind enhances. Your mind thinks differently, right? Very easy. And I do support that a lot of controversial people want to join the Congress and want to run for president because we're tired of this BS. We're tired of this bullshit from the same people. We really want people from the streets who have been on the fucking streets, who fucking got fucking hit rock bottom. They fucking been with hoes. They fucking do this and they fucking, you know what, man? I know evil and good. I want to run for fucking Congress because I know what to do. And these fools, they know what to do, but they don't do it. Okay? I believe that. No? Oh shit, I do this was somewhere. There's that. What's up, dog? Exactly. Nah, no kid should have any parents on info. Yes, I know. I'm saying I'm just putting in a very extreme example. A very extreme example about like if the government, the state, I don't know who regulates fucking OnlyFans and all that garbage, but you can implement little by little, so you don't have to go cold turkey, right? And fucking create a fucking panicking on people and all this fucking nonsense. So you implement some little laws, they will create and will have a ripple effect, right? I know it's fucked up, but how many strippers? I met many. Matter of fact, most of them, if not all of them, they were single moms, right? And they were becoming strippers. They were doing it for the money, right? But they were going back to their. There's even a song, you know, rockabye, rockabye, that fucking bullshit, right? There are even songs, right? It's just normal, right? So with OnlyFans, that will be the requirement, right? It's just like doing your taxes, IRS. How many people are you claiming? One, two, three. Children under 17. You know, I guarantee, bro. I see it. I'm a fucking Pisces. I fucking see it. I see it. I see the change. All of them? Nah, no. But you start with something. But I guarantee, a lot of these bitches after fucking having the children, they're not gonna work there. They're not. They're gonna know like I don't want my fucking children to fucking know that I'm doing this. A lot of them are not gonna give a fuck. It all depends. But a lot of them are gonna say, okay, I'm done with this. And that's how you do it. You create change, right? You create change. You create that step. But this is how you know that the government is losing interest on this, right? Because at the end of the day, they really a lot of people, politicians don't care about this country, right? People think Donald Trump doesn't care about this country, but I think he does in his own way. But we'll see. We'll see in the following months, right? Because a lot of people are trying to run for Congress, and yeah, I will support a lot of people, bro. I literally do. I will literally be fucking happy to fucking support a few fucking controversial motherfuckers. you know? Honestly, well, Donald Trump was the first one. He was never a politician, right? I do believe that would be cool. Right? It'll be cool. Let me think about someone, right? Someone. It's always the guys who speak their mind that you want them in Congress, right? You want those kind of people. You want these people who are not afraid to speak their mind, and it's just crazy, Donald Trump is one of those people that he says it how it is, and it's okay. It's okay. I do believe that it's because I'm like that too, right? But people, they're fearful. They don't want to go to prison. They don't want to be prosecuted. They don't want to be hate, shit like that, right? But yeah, that thing with women, bro, that's so fucking true. I haven't met not even one woman who had no children and it was a wonderful person. Not even one. Hell no. Hell no. They're fucking evil beings, bro. They're fucking evil, right? The only thing I give them credit is that they don't look old, right? If they're like 50, they look like 30 for some reason, right? Because they haven't been through a lot of shit. I don't know, stress or something, right? But it's one thing that they you don't see that they age, right? Like a regular other woman, right? You can see them; they're fucking 60 and they look like 40, right? But oh my god, once you say that you have children, and you start talking about family and life and the cycle and all that, it's over, man. They're the most evil people in the fucking world. Evil. People think Hitler was evil. Hell no. These fucking bitches with no kids, right? They are, you know. They should even make that little fucking little toy, that they make for everybody. I think it's called like Funko, some fucking little fucking big head toys. They should make the fucking symbol of a woman with no fucking kids, how she looks. Honestly, you know, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to fucking send an example to fucking Funko. See what's up. But yeah, bro, it's fucking it's real, right? It's real. Women with no kids, what are they good at? Can we think about one thing? A woman with no kids, what are they good at, right? You don't even want them for you to so they can give you head or have intimate relationship with them because they're gonna call the cops. They're gonna call the law enforcement. Cause I'm telling you, they're fucked up, man. Fucked up. They're fucked up. Very fucked up, man. I didn't know that. I thought I knew a lot until I started doing my own research about fucking women who have no kids, how they act, right? Man, whoo, No way, bro. No fucking way. I have more respect from a fuck to a fucking prostitute who has fucking 4 kids from different dads, and she's hustling on the fucking streets to fucking provide for her fucking kids. Honestly, I can take it that far, right? I will not donate not even a fucking penny to a fucking person who has no kids. For me, it's just evil, bro. It's just fucking evil, evil. And their excuse is like, well, don't you look how evil it's this fucking country, this world? I don't want my son to experience what I experienced. And they don't even know they're the evil, right? They are the ones that the fucking society has become how it's become, right? Right? Because women have no children. And they're complaining about how evil it is. I'm like, you did this by not having children. You just create a ripple effect by being bitter and evil and bad to other women, right? Especially to other women who have kids, right? They look at them down. The reason I'm saying this is because I've been almost for all of my babies, all my kids, when they were born. I think all of them except one, but it's always like that. It's always the nurses that they don't have kids. You can see them that they just like, man, these bitches are in the wrong place. You have to be careful, man. If you guys want to have a baby, you have to be careful with these fucking bitches who have no kids, and they're there helping and doing all that. As a man, you have to have your eyes open. You have to be very aware of what's happening, right? Because your girlfriend or your wife, she's busy with pain, right? So she's not gonna be aware of her surroundings. You as a man, you need to be careful with all these fucking women out there, right? And I think it's evil. It's evil. Any woman who fucking doesn't have kids and she's 50, 60 years old, stay away. Stay a fucking away. No good. Nothing good can come from a fucking person who has no children. Nothing good. Nothing. I'm sorry. Well, not sorry. Fuck that. I'm not fucking sorry. Period. Right? Period. And I know a lot of men know that this is fucking true. It is. It is fucking true. Right? So now I know people are gonna say, "What about if I adopt kids?" Garbage. They're not yours. They have to be yours. Either as a man, they have to come from your fucking sack, and if you're a woman, they have to come from your fucking, your womb, your female organ. That adoption is just something else, a business. You want a check from the government. That's what you fucking do, foster. It's another fucking lie. Another video for another day. Oh, I love kids. That's why I fucking have a lot of foster kids. Yeah. Yeah. You like the check too. You like the money. Ain't nothing about fucking I love children. If you love children, have your own. But if you have your own and you want foster children, I can agree with that. I can agree with that's good. If you have children of your own and you still want to adopt more, have foster children, that's nice. That's good. I agree with that. But if you have no kids and you just want to adopt kids and foster kids and that's your excuse for not to have babies, boo, boo. Yeah, actually, so bad. So out for the money. I've seen it firsthand. Yes, it is true. It is true, man. I go through apps, dating apps. I know my baby mama. She gets mad because she thinks I'm doing my own thing, but she doesn't understand, man. That I'm a seven. I love knowledge. I do believe in numerology and astrology, but I do believe that I do my research in a way that it might convey the wrong message, right? If I'm on dating apps, I'm at sex clubs or fucking very, legal places though. They're legal, but they're kind of like bizarre and weird and a lot of things are going on. I just gained my knowledge. I gained my knowledge because I got sick and tired of fucking listening to fucking priests and pastors and leaders and politicians. I got tired and I said, I'm going to be my own scientist. I'm going to go out there, right? And get my own answers, right? Yeah, you spend money, okay? You spend money, you risk, because sometimes you're in the places where, there's a lot of things going on. But knowledge, for me, experience, it's currency, right? Because it stays with you, right? It's just like when you exercise or you eat good food, right? Like they said, no, food is the best medicine, right? A lot of people have it backwards. They eat like shit and then they take medicine. No, you eat good. You invest in your mind and your body with the best food. It costs money, but it lasts. It pays off in the long run. You know. So yeah, going back, you guys need to be careful with women who have no kids, right? So now the question, are they still smart or they have intelligence? Of course. Like I said before, I did 9 years in federal prison. So I met a lot of public defenders, right, and attorneys who are women, right, and a lot of them don't have kids, and a lot of them don't have kids. Some of them do, but a lot of them they don't, right, and they're useful for that, right. I don't see why a man will marry an attorney, right, who's speaking with future inmates, right, prospects, criminals, or whatever, right. Not judging, right. I was there, but once. But it's just like I don't know how attractive it be. But no, those women, are they evil? Yes. Are they like fucked up? Yes. But that doesn't mean they don't possess intelligence and they cannot work for the system or be like productive in a way that benefits the system, right? Not benefits society in a way, right? Community, like family, not in that way, but in another way, like you know what I'm saying. But yeah, stay away from fucking women who don't want to have children. And yeah, I'm not talking only degrading women here, belittling women. I'm not. Men who don't want to have children and their girl want to have children, he deserves to be cheated on. He deserves that big time. I had a lot of friends, bro. I had a lot of fucking men. Like, what are you saying? Like, I don't have a house, bro. I don't have a car. I don't have this, and my girlfriend wants a fucking car. And I'm like, I understand that, bro. I understand it, but it's just like when a woman is telling you that she wants to get pregnant, she wants a family, you should take that as a priority, right? And then you have to make a choice. I can't make it for you, but to deny that, then don't cry later, right? When she loses respect for you and she, doesn't love you no more. She doesn't trust you and she doesn't follow you, because you cannot go against a woman's nature, you know. And you won't be surprised at how these days are still women want to have children. A few, a few, but they do though. I can be witness of that. They do. They do want to have children, right? And sometimes men, because of this nonsense, of what they're looking at the social media about getting rich, right? Getting rich and wealthy, blah blah blah, and people and men are forgetting to fucking impregnate women, right? There's only a few people who make money and have many children. Those are the great example. Like, okay, he made it, but they fall for it. They think like, okay, because he did it, we all can do it now. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work because you're comparing yourself. If you're comparing yourself to some other people, you need to understand that they have a different astrological sign, numerology is different. They have a different background, so you don't understand what's really influencing them to succeed, right? And I think it's a disease. This is what they're doing right now, right? Make money, make money. This is why you have. I see it at my work. Motherfuckers just fucking trying to do this and this and this, and after the money, chasing money, chasing money. I believe anything that you chase is just fucked up, right? Period. And I believe it's just that's why it has become a mess, right? Not confused, because I know where the thread is. It's not confusing, right? Media, these people have made it confusing, right? But yeah, women with no kids, no good. Are they stupid? Of course not. They have knowledge, right? They do. And if you find a wife or you find a girlfriend or a girl who wants to have kids, don't compare her to somebody who has education, because she has and she will possess her own education, right? Because at the end of the day, education comes from the word educo, Latin, from within, right? That's the true education, right? But I do believe in outer education, of course. You combine both, the one that comes from inside and the one that comes from the outside. You blend them in and you succeed. But yeah, I said it. Women with no kids and women who don't want to have kids, you shouldn't even be having sex with them, right? You shouldn't. They're dangerous and they're fucked up, right? They're very bad, right? Not exactly like women who have kids from different dads. Those are damaged too. But like I said, women with no kids, they occupy the first place. First place. No joke, right? No joke. And yeah, guys, if you guys have a sister, or have a daughter, as a man, we are responsible for fucking society. I met a lot of fucking punk ass dads who they call their daughter princess, right? I never respected a man who calls her his daughter princess. I don't. I don't. I don't know. It's weird. It's fake. You know she's gonna grow up and she's gonna become a woman one day, and you're responsible not for everything, but to influence her, what to do with her body and her mind, right? And I believe that if you as a parent, you're encouraging your daughter to do whatever she wants, you're not a man. You're just a fucking woman with a mustache. That's what you are. You know? And at the end of the day, yes. Who are the most people subscribed in OnlyFans? Who are the people donating millions, thousands of dollars to these women who are bending? Men. You know? And a lot of them are people who can afford it, are rich, wealthy. And who are these people? Right? A lot of people, man, they have degrees, they have fucking masters, they have careers that you will be surprised, mind blowing, right? But they keep this confidential because you will be looking at that doctor. I'm just making an example, right? Disclaimer, I'm not blaming doctor, attorney, you know, surgeon, any CEO. Those are the guys who are donating all this money, right? But because they have so much work, they don't have time to go out there, right? Out there into the real world, right? And fucking approach women or interact with women, and they just go home tired, see someone on the fucking on the screen and donate money and think they're making it, right? Because they made a study that the brain doesn't distinguish from fucking real life and no real life. Bullshit, bro. Whack. That's whack as fuck. I heard it. I heard somebody saying that because you're broke, that's why you're not in OnlyFans because I'm broke. I might be broke, but you're broken. You're broken from your mind, bro. You're broken from inside. Can't fix that, right? So at the end of the day, you can't blame hoes. It's men, you know. There's no such thing that a woman is paying millions of dollars to another woman. There isn't. It's men paying. It's men, right? Nobody's gonna tell me, oh, it's a girl who donated $1 million to another girl who's bending. No, it was a fucking guy. It was a guy. So at the end of the day, as a man, yeah, it's on our shoulders why women become what they become to a certain extent, and the other extent is the government because the laws they pass, right? Certain laws are passed in disguise with personal agendas, right? They say to protect women's right, but what they're doing is demasculating men, unmasculating men. I'm sorry, unmasculating men. That's what they're doing. And a lot of men's, yeah, no. Who wants to go to prison? Nobody. I tell you, it's not a fun place. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just can't help it, right? I remember one guy told me, right? I was in Texas, different laws in different states. He said, Alex, this was when I like had like months coming out of the pen, out of the pen, right? He said, Alex, I have three daughters and I have, he had like eight kids, right? And like one of my daughters was 16 or 17. He straight up told me, right? He was on his late 40s. I'm not gonna say his name, right? But he fucking I appreciated, that he had trusted on me to say something. He said that his daughter brought her boyfriend, and he caught his daughter, having sex with a boyfriend in his house, and he fucking smacked her. He kind of beat her up. He said like, fucking smacked her like three times, right? She had a bloody nose, right? And she called the cops, and then the cops came and said what happened. Well, my dad hit me, you know. And then he said, well, yeah, they were having sex in my fucking house. They were having sex in my house, and he said that the cops they didn't take him. He said, okay, you're 17 years old. You need to get the fucking your shit together and get the fuck out of the house. I mean, like I'm saying, every state has different fucking laws, right? I think it was wild. I'm like, damn. You respect a man when he expresses himself like that, right? It was his own daughter. He said, no, you want to be a hoe, then get the fuck out of here, right? Don't do it in my house. But he smacked her like two, three times. And he said, like, I didn't broke her nose, but it was bleeding, right? And she called the cops, right? And he said that she didn't talk to him for like 2 years, right? Yeah. I respected that motherfucker big time. I respected that motherfucker big time. You know, like, nobody wants to go to prison. He didn't know the law. He told me I didn't know the law, Alex. I didn't know the law, right? But fuck, coming from work, you see that fucking shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. No, you don't do that shit. And I respect it. And yeah, I respected that he fucking smacked the shit off that bitch. You know, I'm like, nice. You know. And yeah. So yeah, you have still men out there, few, right, who are willing to do whatever needs to be done when a female's out of control, right? But there's certain states that I guarantee you that he would have done this in a different state, they would take his ass, right, to custody, to prison, right, or to county. So it's a risk, man. But at the end of the day, this is the whole point that women become what men allow them to become, right? And everything starts as a father, as a brother, right? Especially as a father, right? And this is one thing I always disagree to say, like, yeah, all these strippers, right? They didn't have a dad. Let me tell you something. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, right? I've been in more than 10 states in the United States of America. I know there are 50, but I've been like more than 10, like 12, 14, right? Stay there for a few months, years, weeks, and the first thing that will hit is the strip club, always, right? And but I don't like lap dances. I just like conversation. Like they were, oh, you want a lap dance? Not really, but I can. You want to drink a beer? I can pay for a drink, and we talk. And they were cool, right? And always, I would ask them, "Do you have a father?" This is why I disagree. People that these fucking bitches they didn't have a father. Most of them they had a dad. Most of them had a dad, and most of them they had education, right? A lot of them. I was. It was mind blowing. I had a dad. Yeah, I was a daddy's girl. So why? And she's like, I don't know. My girlfriend or my fucking girl. My girlfriend. Whatever. She just want extra money, and a lot of times they just like that life, right? So all these things that okay, they didn't have a dad, they didn't have a man. That's why all these women are how they are. Bullshit. That's BS. I can prove that with facts. I met plenty of women, man. Plenty of women. I'm like 40 years old. Plenty of fucking women, right? Most of them had dads. Most of them. I don't know where they have this statistics about saying that most of these women, right, who are damaged and promiscuous, they didn't had a dad. They had a dad, right? And a stepdad. So they always had a man. So it's not about, oh, because they didn't have a man in the house. Most of them did. But that man was literally a female. with jeans and a mustache. That's what it was, right? Because when you are a man, you're gonna have a boundary, just like my homeboy from Texas that he fucking smacked the shit off his fucking daughter, right? He said, well, there's certain things that you don't fucking do, right? And you have to have respect for that, you know? Period. And this is how you change. At the end of the day, it's man. It's man's responsibility, right? I met a lot of fucking women who said that their dad would tell them, like, you don't have to be faithful to your boyfriend, girl. You don't have to be faithful, daughter, to your boyfriend. You can have many because you're not married yet. Can you believe that shit? Yeah. That's why when I see this podcast about saying they didn't had a man in the house, I don't know where they having this. I don't know where they're pulling this fucking studies from. I literally don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I don't know, right? And I don't care because I don't believe it. Like I said, I'm a guy that I go get my answers. I do get my answers, right? And I talk about him here. I do. I do. I don't know the whole world. I haven't traveled every fucking country in the world, right? But I do travel. I do go out, you know. I do go out. I talk to people, curious, and for some reason, people talk to me, right? They just like feel comfortable, right? And I appreciate that. I think that's a big blessing from the universe and from the gods, right? I love that. People trust in me, and sometimes they ask me a question. Look, man, this is this, you know, this is this. And I'm like, damn, that's delicate stuff, right? But I appreciate they asking me because I'm learning, right? You know, and experience and knowledge is the true currency. If money doesn't exist no more, if they decide to shut the system right now, right? Boom, they shut the system. Okay? So now you can get your money online. You can take money from ATMs, everything shut down, right? Put an example, because you know what shutdowns do. Remember COVID? Okay. And that was just an introduction of what they can do and how people are submissive to do, right? Me, I was already locked up, so where am I going? When that happened, I was still locked up, right, in prison. So we know, right, lockdowns. People who are already free, right, they were so obedient to go to their house in, right? So you know how can this go? How far can this stuff go? That's what I'm trying to say. And but yeah, guys, and woman with no children, no good, right? I think, and I know they always bring the oh family, family first, family first. I think I will not use family. I will not use family because family can mean a lot of things. I would use children. Oh, do you have a family? Oh, yes, I have my girl. Nah, I'm talking about children. You know, that's what me personally. I never say, oh, do you have a family? Oh, yeah, I have children. I have a husband. No, I go directly specific. You have children. Yes. Even I gave shit to my brothers. You know, I think there's one. He's half brother actually. You know, he doesn't have kids. You know, and like 2 3 years ago, you know, we haven't talked since. I talk shit, you know, you don't have kids? No, you know, I'm trying to make some money. You know, but it's all right. Sometimes you will learn through your own experiences, right? And that's the beautiful part about experience. But experience and knowledge, that's the true currency. Like I said, if they decide to fucking shut down, you know, you can't pull braid you. They froze your account. What are you gonna do now, right? Now you have your knowledge, your experience, and this is what keeps the world going. This is what will keep you alive and will keep you the answers that you have collected, all right, in your whole life. That's the real money, right? That's the real money. It feels very good when my baby mama calls me, right? Video chat, and one of my kids is sick or they're going through something, and they ask me, "What should I do?" Okay, you do this, you know, and it works. It feels good, right? Because it's experience, you know, knowledge. It pays off, right? Wherever you go, you know, that's the true currency. You know, you take some dollars. When I was locked up, you would take some dollars. Those dollars have no value over there, right? Okay. As somebody who was doing time in a jail and prison, your value was your conversation, right? Your physical body, how you carry yourself, and that doesn't change out here. It doesn't. It doesn't. So I do believe in money, but what are you gonna do, right? How many people have, gone through this. I've gone through this. They froze your account for some reason, or you cannot pull money from this account until like after 24 hours or fucking 48 hours. I don't care. It doesn't feel good though. It doesn't, right? Unless you have other accounts or cash on hand. But this is just an example of how the true money, true currency is experience, knowledge. And children, that's one of them, right? When you have children, that's experience, that's knowledge, right? You've been through and especially in a woman, okay? Especially in women. When they have children, their body just reacts differently afterwards. They think differently. It's just different, right? It's different. So you guys know now. Any woman who don't want to have kids, I don't care how beautiful she is. She's not beautiful. Okay? She's not beautiful. She's poison from inside because she's denying her feminine energy, right? And feminine energy, the only thing it does right and natural, right? And precise is to give birth, right? Right? You give a seed and she makes it grow, right? And any woman who goes against that, that's your answer, right? That's your answer. You don't have to go to hell, right? Because you will have it in front of it. But yeah, guys, that's what's up, right? And one of the things I was very curious about why a lot of countries they have different ages on when a woman is considered an adult, right? Not a minor no more. You know, I think that will be a topic for the future, near future, to talk about. Because all these people talk about the Bible, right? I read the Bible probably more than the fucking Pope has read the Bible, right? But that doesn't mean anything because it's mistranslated. And just because you read the Bible doesn't mean you know more. Because at the end of the day, if you're reading a lie, all you're doing is rereading a lie. You're relying in a lie, right? So you have to go and look for other books where that word came from, right? But blah, blah, blah. So going back, I read the Bible, right? The Torah, all of them, right? There's never a verse, a specific chapter, or a verse, or a page, whatever, where it tells you what age is she allowed legally to have babies, right? It only says that whenever like they go through the period, basically their body's telling them they're ready to procreate, right? Not right away, but it's already an indication that hey, you're ready. Your body's getting ready. So I don't know why, right? Countries come with 17, 18, 21, you know. And I think one of the why the Western America will never get along with Muslim people, right? Not the Muslims from here because they're watered down. Not these Muslims. I'm talking about the Muslims from the Middle East. Muslims they still have like Iran and all these countries that they have their own truth. I'm not saying they're right, but that's one of the reasons I think that their women are different from us here in America, in the Western Hemisphere. I think that's the truth, right? I think I don't know who came up with the number 18, right? I think it's very crazy, right? If you start paying attention, what's the age they come from high school? 17, right? So they made this number 18, she's an adult because for the most part, all females and women when they're 18, they already finished high school, right? So in other countries, 17, it's already considered an adult, right? But here in America, most Western countries, they consider 18 an adult, right? Who came with that number, right? So this takes you back to where the corruption starts and why they do what they do. What they do, yeah. So just curious, I was just making my math. So when they're 17, they graduate from high school, right? Not at 18, at 17, right? If I'm mistaken, right? So they know that if they do 17, then high school's pregnant or doing all that, right? So then you, as a go and have a sex with a 17-year-old, you're already 18. That's considered a minor, right? It is very bizarre, man. It's very bizarre and very good. But you guys have to be aware, get your knowledge, your experience, and the only thing that's stopping you is fear. It's fear, right? Fear, right? Fear. But I tell you, if you live in fear, you're already dead, right? Anyways, at the end of the day, and it's not a good life. I've been there, and it starts eating your organs. It starts eating everything from inside, right? It starts eating you. You know, true knowledge, it can be scary because nobody has taught you that, right? You have to tap into your own self and question everything that is established, right? And going back to the Bible to answer that question that I question myself, there's no fucking number in the Bible, right? There isn't. There isn't. There's nothing. So it's crazy how these people come up with a number, right? It's just so fucking crazy. And I think it was a problem because now you have a lot of sex offenders who are incarcerated, and a lot of them, they were not sex offenders, man. It was fucking a trap from law enforcement. You know, it's so crazy. It's so crazy, man. Politics. I used to ignore politics, but it was not until I started doing time, and I stopped ignoring it, and I started embracing it. Mm-hmm. Because I have kids, I have friends, family, right? And the only true currency, like I said, is experience, right? That converts into knowledge. That's the true money. That's the true money. Nobody can change my mind, and they know it. People know it. You go to a place where you're not allowed to fucking take nothing or do anything but your brain and your physical body, then you realize that's the real money. That's the real money, my man. That's the real money. You, your experience, what you know, not what you being told, right? Not what you're being told, but what you know, it's true, okay? And truth doesn't change, all right? The truth is encapsulated in the past, present, and future. Oh, well, back in the day it was true. Now, if it was back in the day true and it's not true now, it wasn't true at all, okay? And this is where we go back to women, right? Why is it that women, right, become women at this age, at this stage of their life, but then law kicks in and they do this and do this? It's a lie. It's a fucking lie, right? If women have been having children from millions of years ago, thousands, hundreds, whatever fucking Big Bang Theory you believe in, it doesn't matter. But if it's hundreds or thousands or millions, they've been having children since the beginning of time. If they've been having children since the beginning of time, and you have women having children today, so that's the true. True doesn't change, okay? Doesn't change. And anything that changes, oh, it was true back in the day, it wasn't true then, okay? It wasn't. Mhm. If man, right, carry the seed, okay, to procreate, and populate the world, it's still happening today. So that means it's truthful forever and ever. It's eternal, right? That's what's true. And any woman who doesn't have children now, but they say, well, we're not living in back in the day. We're living in modern times where women decide what they want to do and blah, blah, blah. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because women, since the beginning of time, they've been having children. Okay? So now you don't want to have children because of this phony laws of these phony people, right? Who they've been making these laws. That doesn't mean necessarily it's truthful. It's not. It's not truthful. Truth doesn't change, right? Truth, it's enrooted, embedded in past, present, and future. That's what it is, guys. Knowledge, experience is your true currency, all right? Not the fucking Benjamin Franklin. But that's needed, though. You just play it. It's a tool. But currency is knowledge, right? Wherever you go, you have it. It can be taken away from you. All right, guys.